chips à la maison.
Alors, tu pars après, t'as pas vu que t'es à 5. Tiens, Michel.
Let's resume it as a race recap.
I'm really glad that I've done this under the emotion. Just give a little race recap on what I've done, just because it was very fresh into my mind and I got amazing feedback by watching this and by thinking about it a couple days, just to remind myself and to understand what I was actually feeling over there and what would have been probably the smarter way of doing things the next time.
Let's resume it as an amazing swim.
No doubt the swim was amazing and really felt good. I wasn't really even tired of it. Really, the swim was something that I didn't expect going that well.
A competitive cycling.
It was very competitive. Thinking back at it, I was probably a little bit too fast. I used a little bit too much of my ego when I went into it. Didn't stick to the plan. I managed to go like way too high and way too low at some moments. So definitely something to look forward to next time.
And embarrassing running.
100% embarrassing. Totally embarrassing. Never ran that slow.
Because I stopped. Actually, I swam my best I've ever swam. It was really fast. I really had a good feel of the water, and I really enjoy doing it. I feel like I've never been this fast into the water. At the beginning, at the halfway point, I thought I was maybe a little bit too fast and started to worry about it. So I tried to slow down a little bit, but then I wasn't swimming as well as I was slowing down. So I just kept my pace again, got out of the water, my legs felt fresh, so that I felt really confident on that part.
Thinking that I was going a little bit too fast on the swim was a mistake, because I probably felt a little muscle endurance fatigue, but when I look back at my heart rate, I was pretty much equal the whole time and it was pretty low. I was staying in a zone 2, so that just means that my capacity in swimming has improved, and that I haven't trained at that speed probably in a long time. So probably work a little bit more on speed in open water swimming. In the past, I've been struggling with some days where I would kind of panic when I would do open water swimming, and with all these people in the water, I kind of really felt confident. So that's probably why I kind of got excited and thought that I was going maybe too fast, but I was actually right spot on pace.
Bike transition was really slow. I didn't have the same shoes that I used to have when I did my other triathlon, so it was a little of a mess when I did that. So it's something to keep in mind for my Ironman next week. I'm really happy actually that I've done this race 1 week before, because there's a lot of things that I can work on.
That was the whole point, kind of doing a triathlon that wasn't as important to me, and just to kind of learn from that. Work on the transition, something that I don't really work on during training. That being said, the socks that I chose weren't probably the right ones to put on really quickly, even if they were wet. My shoes, new pair of shoes with straps-ons, not a little boa, and not putting the shoes on the pedals. But when you look back at the transition times, back at the end of the stats report, the time during transition wasn't that bad. I was probably a 20 seconds slower compared to my past triathlons in the past.
Until then, and just like little tiny details that'll make a big difference. So slow transition, started on the bike, and at the beginning there was this guy, we were just racing, one in each other. He was going in front of me, I was going behind him. It was just a little weird. I think that I'm so competitive when it goes to the biking part that I go maybe a little bit out of my league, and all I was doing is trying to pass the people that were passing me, and it just became like an ego race, which is not a good thing when you have another run after the bike. So I think I went a little bit too fast on the bike straight from the get-go. And
I say that I go a little bit too fast on the bike, but I think it was kind of a good thing because the bike, I'm good on it, I feel confident on it, and the people that were passing me were actually people on TT bikes. So something to keep in mind, they were really taking big surges on me, and I thought that I could keep up to it, and that's where you see a big difference at a certain speed with other competitors. The speed that I was going at, which was about 38, 39 kilometers an hour, that's where there was a big difference between the TT bikes and myself, and probably just because they were drafting a little bit better. And yeah, so TT bike next on the list.
Got back from the bike, a lot of hills on this course, so managed to be a little bit slower on the last part. Started running at like 4:30, my first kilometer, and then I just collapsed. Started walking, had massive cramps. I feel like I didn't use proper nutrition. I kind of mixed a little too many things together.
Oh, about the nutrition, I feel that I drank too much water, and I used too much electrolytes, and I just kind of like, for the time frame that I raced, for the speed that I was going at, I don't think it was necessary to take that much carbohydrates during gels or whatever. I think I should have just stayed with like one gel, that's it, instead of having two, and probably should have drank a little differently across the bike, not just like take everything at the end.
And I started having massive cramps in the belly. I couldn't even walk anymore. I was like in a little bubble. I was like crawling on the ground for about a minute, and then there was this guy that just came over, and he he looked at my shirt, and it says effort is a choice, and he says, hey, effort is a choice, give it your 100%. He told me that, and he just picked me up, and like, holy fuck. This is embarrassing. So I got back up, and I started following him for like a while, and my cramp came back, but I was able to run a little slowly and get into it, and at kilometer 3 I was fine. Yeah, so
to keep in mind that in this event I had to run only 5 kilometers. Initially we had to run 10 kilometers, but because of the heat, the event organizers decided to go down to 5 kilometers, which I was a little bit mad in the beginning, but kind of glad that it was during race day. That being said, I haven't been training for short distance running, so I try to go fast for a 5K, not being trained that way. So I'm currently accustomed to run for a 21K, not to run for a 5K. So when I started running, and when I look at my paces, I was at 4:30 on the beginning of my first K, which probably my heart rate wasn't used to go that much, so that kind of probably played into the mix with the bad nutrition and all that stuff. So yeah.
So I'm a little bit disappointed on the bike. I didn't feel tired. I don't even feel tired right now. Like, I mean, like, I think the training has really paid off, and that's probably why I was this confident into coming into this event. Mostly for the swim. I was very confident on the swim, very confident on the run, but unfortunately there's a couple of missteps that I've made, and I'll be fixing those next week. So really happy I've done this one this week. It's great lessons to take from, and let's not cramp again.
Yeah, for sure. Like, don't cramp next week, buddy. Yeah, so I think I'll just try to be a little bit more calculated on everything in the upcoming weekend in Muscata for the Ironman. Take my 60 grams of carbs every hour and kind of go with the flow. I just think that with the time frame of a 17.3, I'll be able to be a little bit less speedy and be a little bit more smart with the decisions I'll take in terms of nutrition and pacing. And that being said, I already know what I need to work on after this Ironman, so I can't wait to get into it, really test the real 70.3 and get after the weaknesses. So that's the whole name of the game.
Peace. So that'll be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching it. And once again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do that right now.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel, and plus if you want to follow me through my Ironman in Muskoda this upcoming weekend, you can follow the Ironman app, where they will be tracking every athlete. You kind of can go on there and see where I'm at, see if I'm sucking on the run or if I'm doing a great job on the swim and on the bike. And yeah, so you could go on that, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. So I really like doing this little video. It was really quick, really fun to do, and it kind of put me back into the training and racing aspect, and kind of like see how I'm reacting to this footage, which is very fresh compared to like a little bit more of a clear mind and a little bit more of a smart approach of the race. So peace, see you next time.